Hi everyone. So here's what I thought we would do. For the next couple of weeks, I like to do a series of three practices. The first one today, we will focus on knees. The second one on hips, and the third on bone density. So I have many students, all of us, who suffer from knee injuries or knee weakness, same thing for hips, and same thing for bone density. So I thought it would be great to put together some yoga practices that address specifically those issues. All right, so for our first one, come onto your mat. We always have to warm up first, especially focus on warming up the back. So stand in mountain pose. Bring your hands together in prayer. Bow your head. And just take a moment to disconnect from the external world. Let your thoughts come inward. Notice what's going on in your body. If there are any areas of stiffness or soreness, just bring your attention to those areas. See if you can soften a little there. Maybe slightly adjust your pose. Notice if your head is really balanced on top of your spine. Your chin can be tucked down, but you still want your head balanced on top of your spine. You might put a little bend in your knees. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Now, as you breathe in, make believe this is a pitcher right here in your chest. And as you breathe in, imagine you watch that breath, like the water, filling up from the bottom up until it's full. And then exhale through your mouth and just picture that water spilling out from the top of the pitcher, pouring out until it's empty. And then again, take in a breath and watch it fill up that pitcher. And then exhale through your mouth, let it spill out. This time, lift your arms as you inhale. And lower, and a gentle forward fold as you let that breath pour out. Come up again. Inhale, look up. And exhale, look down. One more big breath in. Exhale, fold forward. Dangle for a moment. Let your head go. Let your arms go. If you want to grab opposite elbows, you can do that. You can sway your hips from side to side. Feel the stretch in your lower back and in your hamstrings, the back of your legs. And then release your arms, come up, stacking one vertebrae on top of another like a rag doll, and then back to your mountain pose. Lift your arms. Lean over to the left. Lean over to the right, again to the left, and to the right, and to the center, and then turn to the left. Lower your arms, look behind you, lift up. Turn to the right, lower your arms, look behind you, and lift up. Again, arms open wide, and a nice forward fold. Slide your hands halfway up. Now just let your feet be a little bit wider. You can heel toe them out. As you're here in your standing staff pose, let your back be nice and flat. Let your buttocks reach back. Push your hands into your thighs so you feel as if you're pushing your buttocks back and your thighs toward the back wall. Let the top of your head reach forward. Now, a little bend in your knees. Let your belly drop down so you can create an arch in your back. And then just round your back up so you can create a round back. Then let it sink down into an arch and up again into a rounding and arching and rounding and arching and rounding. And one more so that we can work the back in all 6 ways. Come on back up. And then let's just wiggle around a little. Bring your shoulders up to your ears. Let your hips and your knees get involved in this, maybe even your head. And lift up. Clasp your hands, turn them inside out, make a big circle on the ceiling. Just thinking about getting as many body parts involved in this as you can. And come on back. Make a big circle with your nose in each direction. And then bring your hands behind your head, bring your elbows forward, push your hands into the back of your head, and then in opposition, push your head back into your hands. Feel those muscles in your neck start to work. And release. Elbows out to the side, lean over to the left and the right, back to center. Take a twist to the left and the right and back to center. Open your arms to cactus arms. Drop your fingertips down and up. As you come down, push back and again. And then with resistance, let your elbows go back so you feel the stretch across your chest. Bring your forearms together with resistance. Slide your fingertips up to the ceiling and then your elbows down and up and down and up and down and again up and down. Take a big inhale. Now, if you're doing this practice at home and you haven't done much today yet, I would say to go back to the beginning and do warm up again, just so you're really fully warmed up. Now, let's work on some of those poses for knees. One is to find a flat wall. Now, I don't have a perfectly flat wall, but I can demonstrate it. So you're going to come up against your wall, walk your feet out, maybe a foot from the wall. Bring your shoulders and the back of your head to the wall, and then you're going to slide down just a little bit at first till you feel those thighs starting to work. You feel all those muscles around your knees starting to work, and then slide back up. So it's a supported chair pose. Slide down again. Now, if you have real knee issues, listen to your body. Do this in a modified way. You won't come down as far. You won't stay down as far. You won't do as many repetitions. And slide back up. Come on down again, a little bit deeper this time. Hold a little bit longer. And come back up. And again, come down a little bit deeper to your deepest edge. Come back up. And one more. Come on down. Maybe pulse a few times here. So just sliding up and down, and then down and up. Walk your feet back and come on down onto the front of your mat. So take your block, put it on the outside of your right foot, and take a big step back with that foot. Let it land on an angle. So it's on a diagonal, and you feel some weight on the outside of your foot. You might have to scoot your left foot a little bit closer to the front of your mat and sink down into your warrior one and then your warrior two pose. So your chest is square to the front of the room. You're thinking of your thigh and your knee, your left thigh and knee, as externally rotating toward the left. Your shoulders are right over your hips. And then you look forward and straighten your front leg. Reach forward with those fingertips. Come on down. I'm sorry, I told you the wrong side for your block. Take it to the outside of your left foot and bring your hand onto it. Lift your right arm straight up to the ceiling for triangle pose. Now both legs are straight. So this is putting pressure onto your knee, but you're supporting it with your hand. So it's not the full pressure. And that can help to strengthen the knee muscles without applying too much stress. So, triangle pose. Think of a straight line from wrist to wrist. Think of your head as positioned. You can look up, you can look straight forward. If you have neck issues, you can look down. You're going to wrap your left buttock under so that if you were between two panes of glass, nothing would be sticking out. Now we're going to go from here to reverse triangle, which is a little more challenging. So bring your right hand down. Now the trick in reverse triangle is to adjust your hips. So as your right heel slides to become more forward, to position your foot more forward rather than on an angle, your hips are also going to turn so that they're now facing the mat instead of facing out to the right. Going to bring your block to the inside of your foot and your left hand to the outside of your foot. Then your right hand comes onto the block. You begin to turn your hips to the left and your shoulders as well and lift your right arm. And turn and turn and lift and square your chest to the left side wall. With your arm lifted, again a straight line from wrist to wrist and really feeling that work in your legs. And then bring your left hand down. Put your block off to the side. Bring your right foot up to meet the left. Slowly come up to mountain pose. And then we'll do balancing half moon on the other side. Now at home, please do that pose, triangle and reverse triangle on the opposite side. I'm just showing you one side for the purposes of this video, but please do the other side. Come to the top of your mat. Bring your block to the outside of your right foot, but on a diagonal, maybe 6-8 inches away from your foot. So close to the wall. Your foot is maybe 8 inches away from the wall. Now, you're in standing staff pose. Right hand on the block, left leg lifts to hip height. Now you begin to move your hips out to the left as your left arm lifts. And you again picture a straight line from wrist to wrist. You're going to wrap your right buttock under so that your hips and your chest become more square to the side wall, left side wall. Balancing half moon. Again, putting stress on the knee to strengthen the muscles, but supporting it with the block. Breathe. Again, find a position for your head. Looking straight ahead, up or down. Bring your leg down, foot down, hand down, and slowly come up to mountain pose. So don't forget to do that on the other side. I would suggest maybe going through the video a second time, doing the pose on the opposite sides. Now, come down onto your back and let's do supported bridge. So, your knees are bent. Your shoulders and the back of your head are flat on the floor, but you're going to tuck your shoulder blades under. You're going to bring your heels back a little bit closer toward your buttocks. Then you're going to press down into your upper arms from the elbow to shoulder and into the soles of your feet and lift your hips up. Now right away you feel that in the thighs. What you want to do is push your knees forward so you really are working those muscles around the knees. And then slide your block under. Slide it under first at the lowest level. And just rest your hips on it and see if you still have tension in your thighs and knees. If you don't, lift up again and bring your block to the second highest level. Keep pushing those knees forward toward the front wall. Your chest is rounded. Your chest comes back toward your chin. Think of your shoulder blades tucking under. Nice stretch across your chest. And then you can hold here for a minute. And if you then are not feeling enough stretch in your thighs or your knees, you can come up to the highest level for supported bridge. That's up to you. If you come on the highest level, use your hands to keep your block in place so it doesn't fall down. Breathe. And stay here for as long as feels good to you. Maybe drop down a level and maybe stretch your legs out just for a nice restorative pose. Let your feet relax, let your toes fall out to their own sides. Think of that nice stretch for the front body. Nice stretch for your hips. And then come on back, lift up, put the block aside, roll over, and come to table pose, hands and knees. Now this is a nice pose for your knees, working the knee muscles, because you're going to bring your toes together. It's also a nice restorative pose. And you're going to push your buttocks back toward your heels. The more you go back, the more you're going to feel that stretch in your thighs and knees because you're closing the angle of the bend. Now another idea is that you can kneel on a blanket that's been folded a few times to make it nice and soft for your knees. So you might be able to come all the way back, or your knees might say, no, that's not for me today. So wherever you get to is fine. If you get to here, that's fine. Tomorrow you might get to here. Go to whatever is your edge. And then just reach your arms out, let your forehead come down to the mat, and enjoy this pose. Come on back up. Drop your hips to one side and come to seated pose. Open your legs to a nice wide V. This is the last pose for the knees, for strengthening those muscles. So you're strengthening all of this and the muscles that support your knees. Forward fold. Hands on your knees, slide your hands down your shins toward your ankles. Let your heart come forward. Your back is nice and flat. And just see where you can get to with a flat back. When you can go no further with a flat back, just pause there and breathe. Hold. And then bring your hands to the floor. Walk them out. See if you can fold a little bit more. Give your hips a chance to let those muscles stretch. And then see if you can go a little bit deeper. A few more breaths on the exhale, a little bit deeper. Now you can tuck your chin in and begin to round your back. And then see if you can go a little bit deeper. Just keep working at it until you get to your edge, and then hold and breathe. And flex your ankles. Bring your toes to face up toward the ceiling. Breathe. So great stretch for the hamstrings, great stretch for the inner thighs. Using all those muscles on the top of your legs and your thighs around your knees. Nice stretch for the lower back as well. Tuck your chin and round back up slowly. Fold your legs. Bring your hands onto your knees. Sit tall but comfortably. Remember your head balanced on top of your spine, and just take a few moments to breathe. Now I would suggest, if you can do this practice starting twice a day, that will be a big bonus for your knees. And you decide, maybe you can do it more than twice a day. Maybe each time you do it, you can hold each pose a little bit longer. A few more repetitions. If you have YouTube on your television, you can use your remote to pause the video. Do a few more repetitions and then go on. Don't forget to do each pose on both sides of your body. So close your eyes. Bring your hands back to prayer again. Bow your head and honor yourself. Have a great